for instance. Actually, for that matter, there was no need for her to do the deed in 15 minutes. And there was a way for you to carry that body. Interesting. Let's hear it then. Mr. Wright, please show us how she carried the body. So the question is even presupposing that she moved the body, which I just said she did, and the game went, no, she couldn't have moved the body. Oh, the game is confused about what it's asking. What chance have I got?
Take that!
If you say that that's wrong, I'm gonna scream. Miss Vasquez, you carried the body to Studio 1. And you used the studio van to do it. Or maybe that was more of a recall your testimony. There was to be a rehearsal afterwards, so we went to Studio 1. I was fatigued, so I had Sal take me. There was a van there, right? I had Sal drive me. You used the van to carry the body to Studio 1. Then, before everyone else got there, you put the body into the magistrate costume. Hold on, Wright. Don't forget, it was Sal Manella that drove the van. Are you suggesting that Mr. Manella was a conspirator? Ooh. He could have been. He very much could have. No. Possibly not. I mean, he kind of would do anything for Vasquez, so I could see of court saying yes. But there's not really much evidence for it, other than what people have said. So I'm going to save again. Which I probably should have been doing before. Because I can see both, and I don't like the, of course he was. I'd like to have an I don't know. I mean, unless he took the van back, unless he drove her and she got out and took the body out of the kind of van area, like the back of the van, and he then drove back. But I think it makes more sense for him to be. Of course, someone has to have been a conspirator. The body had to be placed in the van, put into the costume. There's no way Miss Vasquez could have done that alone. Also, don't forget that they had to dispose of the steel samurai costume. They had to, because it was covered in Mr. Hammer's blood. They probably burned it in that small incinerator, along with the stake. Well, Miss Vasquez, shall I continue? No need. You're smarter than you look, Mr. Wright. I lose, you win. It was fun. I win? No one knows what's happening. What happens next? Don't me. Don't you have anything to say? What would you like me to say? Huh? I lost? Something like that. I just said that. Wait, so you mean... D. Vasquez, so it was you. You killed Jack Hammer. Who can say? Huh? Are you sure I did? Mr. Wright, we just engaged in a battle of wits. And the result of that battle, you proved the possibility that I murdered Hammer. Right. But that is only a possibility. Proof is another thing altogether. You lack decisive proof, Mr. Wright. What? What? Order! Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Of course, it's as the witness says. Certainly, it does seem very likely she did it, but there's no proof. She's more likely to have done it than Will Powers, who was knocked out on sleeping pills. Edgeworth isn't sure. Well, I came here as a witness today. If you've no more questions, I'll be leaving. Look, what do I do now? What do I do now? I don't know! Could I have her testify? What on? What can I have, like... Alright, what have we got? I don't think there's anything to have her testify about, is the problem. But we'll say testify again. The judge will tell me off. I'd like you to testify again. Testify? Again? Know when to give up, Mr. Wright. Think about it. Even if I were to testify again, what's the point? I can only say what I said before. The truth, Mr. Wright. I've already said all there is to say. What would happen if I said it again? You'd ask the same questions, get the same answers. Waste of time. Okay. Come so far only to fail. As it seems, there are no further questions. I would like to end the cross-examination of the witness, Miss Vasquez.
Objection!
What? Yes, Mr. Edgeworth? I was hoping to come up with a question while I was objecting, Your Honour. I didn't. What?
Objection!
Oh, I've come up with a question now. Your Honour, I request the witness testify again. You are the prosecutor, are you not? Why are you badgering me? I'm your witness. I just want to hear your testimony again. What on earth is going on? Like, is Edgeworth now changing his mind and is now half prosecuting Vasquez? Does this make any sense to you, Your Honour? I mean, that's the point I'm making. I don't see that we have anything to gain by repeating the last several minutes. Mr. Edgeworth, I too see little point in making Miss Vasquez repeat herself. What exactly did you want her to testify about? Well, yes, Indeed, verily, I say, ergo. I want to hear about what happened after they found the body. After they found the body? Very well. The witness will testify to the court concerning this matter. Nick, why did Edgeworth... Who knows? He probably realised she did it too. But, wasn't he the one that said he always gets a guilty verdict? After all that... Edgeworth... Building up so much hope of like, oh, we've got her, and then... Psych. No. Right. I was with Sal and Oldbag, the security lady, when we found the body. The assistant was there too, only Powers was absent. I immediately called the police, then Powers showed up. The security lady, Oldbag, was quite agitated, pointing at Powers saying he did it. I asked to be left out of the proceedings. I went back to the trailer to get my script and direction notes. Then I went home. I see no issues raised by this testimony. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. Okay, Nick, we're close, real close. She may be acting tough now, but if you put her on the spot, she's sure to falter. Find the key you need and twist the truth out of her, Nick. Right. Right, what evidence have I got? I don't really have any evidence for after the... For after, do I? The van, the steak plate, the sleeping pills. Yeah, I haven't got any... But I said that before, and then a plate from the wrong place was evidence. Right, we'll just press. If in doubt, press. What time was that? We were to meet at 5 for the rehearsal, so I'd say it was then. When exactly did you and Mr. Manella arrive at the studio? About 10 minutes before? I wasn't stuffing any bodies into costumes, mind you. Press harder, if in doubt. Where were the other employees when you got to the studio? They weren't there yet. Well, then you could have put Hammer in that costume with Salmonella's help. Oh? What did I just say? Did I not say I wasn't stuffing any bodies into any costumes? You should try to listen to what people are saying, boy. But boy? The witness will continue our testimony. The assistant was there too, only Powers was absent. Mr. Powers was taking a nap, correct? So he says. Did no one go to call him? Remember. Remember what? There was a dead body lying in front of us. Yet you expect me to be calm? Certainly seemed calm enough when I accused you of murder. Press harder. Wait a second. Wouldn't that be the other way around? The other way around? You discovered a murdered body and one person was missing, right? Wouldn't you normally go looking for the missing person? Had they been killed? Had they been killed as well? Were they the murderer? I have to agree with the defense on this one. Well, Miss Vasquez? Logically speaking, perhaps. But no one there was thinking very logically, I assure you. Also, without his steel samurai costume, Powers doesn't really stand out. We often left him on the bus when shooting at location. No one noticed he was missing. Poor Powers. Well, I suppose that explains that. Very well, Miss Vasquez. You may continue. Immediately called the police. Then Powers showed up. What was everyone else doing at that time? No one said a thing. It was silent. Completely silent. So we stood there until Powers finally arrived on the scene. Sorry, I'm late. Then, silence. Dead silence. Okay, a lot of ellipses. Silence. Hey, Nick. Why is everyone so quiet? Someone should do something to lighten things up. The security lady, Old Bag, was quite agitated, pointing at Powers, saying he did it. Old Bag, the security lady. Why did the security lady think Powers had done it? The photograph. She said because she saw him going towards the studio. Right. Steel Samurai. Which, I mean, thinking in hindsight... No, never mind. Like, because it's like, if there's only the two pictures and neither of them are Hammer, it'd be a bit odd. Press harder. Did the detective arrest Mr. Powers based solely on the security lady's word? Perhaps not. She seems to have also given the detective that photograph. Of course, I heard all this after the fact. That photograph, meaning the one taken by the security camera. She's not known for exhibiting the best sense of judgment when it comes to Hammer. I don't think there's anything in there I can use. It has to be left out of the proceedings. Why? You asked to be left out? Yes. It seems that everyone else was questioned, and I'm really not fond of that sort of thing. But you can't just decide who the police will and won't question. Thankfully, the studio thinks otherwise. They were nice enough to understand that since we were in a meeting, there was no way we could have been involved. Thus, they covered for us. Covered for you, or covered it up for you. There must have been a lot riding on it with all those bigwigs at the meeting. I'm sure her professionals helped convince everyone they didn't require questioning. I went back to the trailer to get my script and direction notes. The script and your direction notes? Yes, they're quite valuable. It wouldn't do to have them stolen. No, I guess not. Press. Wait a second. I thought you came to Studio One for a rehearsal. Why didn't you bring your script and notes? Well, I was under the impression that we wouldn't be able to rehearse anything. Why? There was a murder after all. But you didn't know that at that point. Who could think of rehearsing after that? Oh yeah, I get... Very well, Miss Vasquez, please continue. Objection! Your Honor! She realises there was a murder before she'd been to the Studio One? I have an objection to the witness's last statement. Whose side are you on? Huh? Think. Miss Vasquez said she didn't bring the script because there wouldn't be a rehearsal. Don't you see what that means? She would have had to know about the murder before going to Studio One. I agree with that face. Order, Mr. Edgeworth. What you have just said is a reasonable observation. I'm shocked at you. However, I find it hard to understand why the prosecution would make such a move. Or are you thinking of a career change to defense? I mean, defense is basically prosecution, but you're just picking some random bloke off the street. Well, not quite. I appreciate the concern, Your Honor. I will stand by my statement, however, regardless of how the court sees my role here. Now, Miss Vasquez, do you have an explanation? Can't believe Edgeworth is helping me. So the prosecution is in cahoots with the defense? What kind of court is this? To be fair, I mean, the other option is, it seems, is that the judge is in cahoots with the prosecution. No matter. I think you misunderstood me. I had a perfectly good reason to believe there would be no rehearsal. Very well. The witness will change her testimony to reflect this reason. Why couldn't I challenge that? I knew that Hammer was injured and couldn't do any action scenes. It wasn't Hammer, though. It was Powers. How did you know about the injury? How did I know? Sal. He told me. Sal, the director. You have to find something to peg this on her. Yeah. Or everything we've got now will have been wasted. I believe in you, Nick. Go get him. Right. Hang on. Because the injury was to Powers. No, the injuries was to Powers, wasn't it? I mean, he called the police. Yeah. Went back to the trailer to get my script and direction notes. I knew that Hammer was injured and couldn't do any action scenes, so I left them behind. Right, I'm going to save, because I don't know how I argue that that she's got it wrong. So I'm going to try and present the photo. Okay, it stopped, yeah. You knew that Hammer was injured. Don't you think that's a little funny? I mean, it was the Steel Samurai who was injured. It was Will Powers. What? Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Yes, Mr. Hammer is dragging his leg in this photo. But that's because he was pretending to be Mr. Powers. Pretending? One person was injured in the run-through that morning. That person was Mr. Powers, not Mr. Hammer.